How's everyone today? Is everyone enjoying MAGFest? Woo! All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our panel. From passion to profession, social media marketing in the video game industry. Hosted by us, Strategy Guide.
He's got a great voice. He's got a great voice.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
All right.
So there was on the app, it said we were going until 5:30. We're not. We're going until 4:30. That's the email. Yeah. We just wanted to clear that up. I saw that. I'm like, we're going for 2 hours? Huh? So, yeah, just to keep in mind, we are going until 4:30, so no worries if you don't have enough time to stay until 5:30.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. But, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So in this panel, we're going to go talk about us a little bit, how we got into, the creation of Strategy Guide. And then we're going to introduce to you guys the marketing aspects of it, from fan to profession, and then what we've learned, what to know, and how to pitch a project. And then at the end of the panel, we'll take questions and answers.
And if you have a question during the panel too, just raise your hand. We'll answer any question. So, yeah.
All right.
You want to go first?
You want to go first?
Sure. So, we're Strategy Guide. We're a fairly new social media marketing agency in gaming that works on fun projects. We worked on videos, social media posts, all that cool stuff. Our biggest client is definitely Sonic the Hedgehog. You may know him a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Very small indie franchise, Sonic the Hedgehog, with 2 movies, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
A recent project was on YouTube called Sonic Superstar Speed Strats.
Yes.
Which was pretty cool. It was kind of like a tutorial about the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, basically we just teach everybody how to use the emerald powers and the aspects of the characters and everything. So it was a really fun project to work on.
And who's going to the Sonic Symphony? Anyone going to the Symphony? You're gonna see some of our gameplay, which is cool.
Yes, sir.
A lot of that was our friend Sam procrastinates, but we helped with a little bit too. We worked a little bit on the Symphony, which was really cool. Also Sonic Frontiers, Speed Strats, and Fast Facts we worked on.
Yep.
And a couple of trailers for that too. Like the Monster Hunter trailer we helped with.
Yes.
The Monster Hunter DLC.
Yes.
That was really cool.
Sonic in the armor is pretty nice looking. Huh?
It's really cool. And also Sonic Origins we helped with. We did a trailer for the Sonic Central live stream.
Yes.
That they did.
And it was amazing.
That was crazy. By the way, we are huge fans of Sonic. We'll talk about that in a second. We come from the fan community, so it's just really cool to be able to work on that sort of stuff. And another franchise we worked on before Sonic was Super Monkey Ball, specifically for Banana Mania. If y'all saw the Cooking with II series with the puppet, that was us with our friends at Job.
Yes, sir.
That was really cool.
Yes. I got a question for you guys. How many of you guys are fans of Super Monkey Ball?
Okay.
Awesome.
7 people.
7 people.
Thank you. But yeah, no, that was really fun.
Oh, yes.
And also we worked with Atlas a little bit on a game called 13 Sentinels.
13 Sentinels.
We did another cooking show for them with a puppet of the character BJ. He's like a robot. Really cool.
He has a little blanket around his head.
It's really cute.
It's pretty cute, yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, we worked on some other stuff. Probably stuff we can't talk about quite yet. But yeah, it's just some really cool stuff. But what have you done, Mr. Patrick?
All right, first.
I kicked the table. Besides Strategy Guy,
yes.
What have you done?
Okay, yes. My name is Patrick. I'm also known as Corey Muru in the Sega community. I write for SegaBits.com. It's a website where we cover a bunch of Sega news, and we also do a lot of interviews recently. Actually, I was in Japan a couple of months ago to meet up with former game designers who worked on Space Channel 5 and Virtual Cop. And meeting them at the Hachi 84 bar was so amazing. It was a nice experience. And I've also done a couple of conventions in Savannah, Georgia, and Atlanta called Sonic and Sega Fan Jam. It was a Sonic the Hedgehog and Sega fan event where all types of Sega fans could just gather together, like basically like a Sega-centric convention where you can play like classic and modern Sega video games like Sonic, Streets of Rage, Yakuza, Soccer Wars, House of the Dead, and so on and so forth. I've also done a couple of work for Sega Forever, which is Sega's retro channel. I've done a couple of work of recording gameplay for Virtual Fighter for their retrospective video, and I've also helped a little bit with the House of the Dead retrospective video as well.
This guy is literally the Sega encyclopedia. You can ask him any question about Sega, he will know the answer. It is scary how good he is at knowing Sega things.
Yes, sir. Like
crazy.
if it's like characters or franchises and stuff, I'm your man.
Yeah. Gotta go? Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm Matt. Back in the day, I actually interned at Sega before working at Strategy Guide on the Sonic social media pages. So some of the memes I helped with. But I also worked at Adult Swim and Cartoon Network for a bit, which was really cool. I helped with my proudest achievement, of course, was helping with a Pickle Rick, of course,
Pickle
Super
Rick.
Bowl commercial, which, of course, I'm going to put that on my tombstone, of course. Some of you may know me from Tails channel back in the day, which is a YouTube channel that does like Sonic news. I ran that. And also I'm the creative producer of an upcoming video game called Star Garden, which is really cool. You can check us out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
Dab us up. Dab us up.
1, 2. All right. So yeah, you
Yes,
want to
sir.
do this?
So, introduction to marketing. So, for our clients, we want to help them create something for a brand or about a product that results in the audience either knowing about the brand or researching said product.
So like this could be like a video, this could be like a social media post.
Yeah.
It's literally anything to get people interested in either what we're promoting, like a product or a brand. So like when we're doing a Sonic the Hedgehog thing, besides, stuff for the games, we also help with like Tails tubes sometimes and stuff like that. And that's more so like a lore, like
Like a
series thing
lore
rather
series.
than like a actual video game, right?
Yeah.
It encompasses everything, right? So it's kind of like you're helping the brand with brand recognition or just good positivity, good reception, or you're helping like a game, having people know about it. Like for Sonic Origins, I think what we were going for with that was a lot of people came off of the movie. And of
Yes.
course, who here is a Sonic fan? Cool. There's a lot of people out there that became Sonic fans just because of the movie. So I think Sonic Origins was a perfect introduction to that.
You know that. Speaking of that, actually, like from where I live in Savannah, a couple of times I'm walking around the street or like, I'm working at the grocery store. I see like a bunch of kids wearing Sonic shirts, and they'll like their parents would mention that they saw the movie, and they'll like tell me about the movie as well, which is like it's really cute to like just hear. I'm glad we were like able to like bring that like that feeling to like the younger audience into like Sonic the Hedgehog.
We'll talk about that in a bit with more like the audience stuff, but just as like an introduction, it's more, of course, as like hardcore fans ourselves of these franchises, we care deeply about like catering to the hardcore fans because we want to put something out that we would like as hardcore fans as well. But also, there's a lot of new people coming into like a franchise like Sonic, so you want to also cater to like those new people coming in from the movie being like, oh, dude, Sonic's cool. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing there. Same with like Super Monkey Ball, where that series kind of was dormant for a while. They have Banana Blitz HD, but after that, Banana Mania came out. That was kind of like the return to form a little bit. Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much what the introduction to marketing is. Very simply, we'll go a little bit deeper into this, but that's like the easiest kind of definition.
Oh yeah.
Here's 3 things that I found to be the most important when it comes to marketing. As we were talking about, the audience is very important. You want to research the audience. Say it with me, everyone. You want to what? Research the audience. Thank you. Thank you. Because raise your hand if you've seen a campaign, like a social media post, a video, that just falls flat. It falls completely flat on its face. Thank you. Yes. It's because they don't research their audience. They
Yeah,
don't know what they
exactly.
want. They didn't do enough research. And it's a lot of like looking on social media what people are saying. It's a lot of like knowing as a fan what you would like and what a fan might like. What do you think?
Yeah, like research is very important, and you want to make sure you don't want to tarnish your brand. Um, like if, let's say for example, like if I'm bringing back, I don't know, Mortal Kombat or something.
Yeah. This kid
And-
loves Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, and like, like a lot of people like Melina, right? Mortal Kombat, like Melina. Like I just remember seeing like a lot of Twitter and stuff. Um, it's just like fans were like upset with NetherRealm Studios for like not including Melina in Mortal Kombat 11, and she is like one of the most popular characters in the franchise.
Yeah.
So after a while and stuff, after from like all the messages and stuff from a lot of fans who like criticized the game for not having this character, they eventually gave in and like gave her like a DLC spot in the later update. So you definitely want to like make sure you research your audience and stuff before you market any game.
Yeah, and that definitely falls under game development as well. But for marketing, it's like, especially with like jokes and like different like references, you want to know what the fans really enjoy before you like throw things out there and like
Yeah.
attempt, you know what I mean? So, oh yeah, and don't forget to research. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but just don't forget, please. I'm
Yes,
begging you.
yes.
If you ever get into marketing. Creativity is also a huge thing. Obviously, we want stuff to be creative. We want stuff to be original. We don't want to see the same thing over and over again. And the best advice I can give on that is you can be inspired by something. You can definitely take inspiration from something you've seen, be like, oh, that was cool, and like put it into your own thing, but have a spin on it. So don't copy and paste from other marketing projects. It's
Yeah.
definitely
That,
a
that-
big one.
That's a no-no.
Because the audience knows, excuse my language, but the audience knows BS, right? They can see right through it.
Yep.
And as someone who's like a big fan of these franchises, any gaming franchises, especially
Yeah.
like Nintendo, Sega, all that stuff, I can see exactly what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
And
yeah.
I know fans can too. So the audience is smart enough to know like when something is uninspired. That's why you gotta make sure stuff is creative. And also a call to action. So the call to action, I'm sure a lot of you know this, what this is. But if you don't, just in case, it's kind of like what you want the audience to do. So like for a trailer, you want people to be interested in the game.
Yeah.
For like something like Speed Strats, you want people to be so interested in the game that they maybe buy it. So like how do you know, like how do they know that you want them to buy it? You put something like buy now at the end, right?
Yep.
So that's pretty simple. It's straightforward, but a lot of people forget that. But that can also create engagement on social media.
Yes.
When you have like a call to action that's more fan focused, influencer focused, which we'll talk about influencers. It definitely should be clear and concise, as I put there, because if you have it too long, people might get disinterested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we'll go over an example of what that might be in a bit. Here we go. Here's some other things that we're going to quick fire. The budget of any project. So a lot of people, including myself, because I'm the founder of the company, will go in and be like, maybe I should charge less because they don't know me yet. They don't know what I'm capable of, and I don't want to seem like I'm asking for too much. I'm telling you, ask for the standard price. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
What you want to do, actually, in my opinion, is go a little bit higher than the standard. So say like I'm asking for maybe like $5,000 for a video, right? I would maybe charge $6,000 at first in the pitch, and then a company would be like, oh, can we go down to $5,000, which is what I originally wanted anyway, right?
Yeah.
So you want to kind of like, don't sell yourself short, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You just want to like make it fair as
Yeah.
well.
Engagement's huge. A lot of brands these days use influencers. Now, raise your hand if you've seen an influencer campaign that you thought was a little weird, or like, I guess the best word is cringe, or like, I don't know. That's another aspect of researching, right? Because some companies will add just random people that they think are popular into a campaign and be like, oh, dude, they'll love this. You know what I mean? They'll love this so much. Obviously, that doesn't work all the time.
Actually, I can think of one.
Yeah,
But I won't mention his name.
Oh, okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. Exactly. Oh, play the game?
Yeah.
Again, that's something that I think should be looked into. I think
Yeah.
the influencer that's promoting the game should at least be somewhat of a fan. Like, I remember there's this one guy who did something, I won't say names, right, for a company, but you could tell immediately just from their like interview video that they're not a fan whatsoever.
Yeah.
And like we said before, fans can see right through that. You want someone that you could kind of relate to in a way.
Yeah,
You don't want
exactly.
some random celebrity selling like hair products to like promote a video game. You know what I mean?
And another thing too, like that influencer has to have passion.
Yeah.
For what they're being offered to and stuff, so that way it can engage with the audience a lot more.
Yeah, pretty much. NDAs. That's a big one. Because
yeah.
you will see people, man, you will see people breaking NDAs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, it is not a good idea.
Not at
It is
all.
not a good
Absolutely
idea.
not.
A lot of the times when you go into business with, a big brand, AAA company, you'll sign a contract. That is a legal document that you're signing.
Exactly.
That is a very scary document sometimes that you're signing. I would read through that, by the way, just to
Yes.
make sure.
Like very, 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 very thoroughly.
Now, most of the time, if it's a light offense, you'll get let off with a slap of the wrist, but why even risk it? You know what I mean? You can definitely get in a lot of trouble. There was that, God, there's so many leaks out there
Yeah.
that I know people have gotten in trouble for leaks recently. It's just pretty bad. So if you ever work on a big project, as tempting as it is to know about the next game and be like, hey guys, guess what? Don't do it.
Yeah,
Even
don't-
if it's your close Discord group, even if it's your best friend sometimes.
Yeah.
It's tough, but you gotta
Yeah.
keep it on the down low.
Yeah, keep it on down low. Keep it to yourself as much as possible, or you're gonna be like basically owing a lot of money.
Yeah. I've heard, now this might be a rumor, I heard some gaming companies, they might even take like as much money as like your house or something.
Ooh.
If you break NDA.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's true, but I've heard that around. So just be careful with NDAs.
Mm-hmm.
As fun as it is sometimes to see leaks, it will not be fun for your wallet later on.
Oh yeah.
It will not. The media type. And as we talked about this before, marketing could be a couple different things. It could be like an in-person event. It could be a video. It could be a social media post. Kind of falling into that category. You want to choose which media type works. And I guess in that regard, social platforms like TikTok, Facebook, we're calling it Twitter. Twitter.
Instagram.
Instagram, all those social media platforms. You want to make sure you're posting on the right ones sometimes.
Yes.
So yeah, keep in mind social platforms. Storytelling kind of falls into the creative side, and storytelling is kind of like building up something. It's kind of like telling, it's kind of in the name, right? Telling a story about the product that engages people in a way to want to engage with the product.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
Or-
like speed strats, for example, where we work together, come up with scripts and stuff, and add a lot of little references to
Yeah.
past Sonic games and stuff.
One of our special guests on Speed Strats in an official Sega video, which was really cool, was the speedrunner Argit, if maybe y'all know him. And he's super cool, super nice.
Yeah, super chill.
But it's really cool because we got an official speedrunner in the Sonic community to be a part of it, like an official video
Yes.
for Sega. And I saw on Twitter, like that was a lot of people wanted to try out those things. They learned stuff about the classic Sonic games that they didn't really know before. So I think something like that's really cool. Trends are really important. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? You want to see like kind of what's going on. You don't want to be too like on the nose sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you can tell when someone's trying to like hop on the train, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Of a trend, but like, you just want to see what's like kind of popular out there and timing.
Yes.
You want to know when's the right time to post the content you're trying to post. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually, for us, that's usually dependent on the company we're working with. We don't really have a say on when something gets posted. But it's something to keep in mind regardless when you're pitching,
Yes.
because pitching a project that's very timely could help you in the long run.
Definitely.
Okay, so here's kind of like a little discussion of like becoming a fan to like a professional, because like when we first started, like you go into a company, right?
Yes.
And you feel like, oh, this is gonna be the coolest thing ever. Like it's gonna, no problems whatsoever. Like I get to work with my favorite company. And it is like that sometimes. I'm not trying to spoil the dream, I promise. But like, it's a lot different than you might think. This is a business, right? It's more than just a video game, especially with like a AAA company. Their number one goal is to make money,
Yeah,
right? That's
always,
the
yep.
number one goal. So it's like, it's fun. And the people we've met, especially at Sega, have been nothing but nice and nothing but like supportive of our stuff.
So kind, yes.
Really kind. Like I'm not like just saying that. They're really cool, and they let us have a lot of creative freedom. But it is work, right? We can't just sit there in a Discord call like goofing around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you know, they also give us like unique opportunities to like work with them and basically show our creativity to the world,
Yeah.
which means a lot for a company to give us that opportunity to like you know, just to go at it and just have fun.
Yeah. I mean, our entire team, which is like 5 people right now, all started as Sonic YouTubers,
Yes.
right? All 5 of us started as like fan content creators, and most still are.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Procrastinates, if you may know him, big content creator in the Sonic space. He still does his content, but he also does the Sega stuff too, which I think is really cool.
Oh yeah.
So like, but what we're trying to say is peeking behind the curtain, it's a little bit different than you might think. Remember that these are like jobs, and you're working with people who also have jobs, you know?
Yeah.
And that brings us to this point. What we've learned. And this might be a little like, what would you call it? Like cold water?
Yeah. Cold water.
Cold water splash to the face,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, I think it's important because this is stuff we learned from like messing up and going forward from the mess ups, right? You're a fan, right? However, remember first and foremost that you're doing professional work for the client. Do not, and I know how tempting it is, do not ask about upcoming games or
yeah.
products unless you have to, or the client brings it up first. I wanted to include this slide. I know it's a little different than marketing, but we wanted the panel to be
Yeah.
more so like working with a client as well, like a big gaming company, and how we have kind of learned to interact like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, obviously it's really cool to know about upcoming games sometimes when you're allowed to.
Yes.
But it's also in your best interest not to be too pushy about it. And yeah, your clients are just people too is a really good line.
Yeah.
They're not like,
They're not robots. They're human. Like you
Yeah.
know, treat each other with respect and work together as much as you can. And you promise you guys will have a good time working.
I think when
the
you
company.
like see someone at like a big video game company too, you kind of like idolize them or kind of like think of them as like maybe cooler than you. But
Yeah.
you're also very cool. Like, I mean, the fact of the matter is they're just people too. They're doing their own jobs. I mean, just be friendly, just be yourself. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I've been told all my life, like, you have to behave like this or be really professional. And no, like, of course, you have to use common sense. And of course, you have to be professional in some context. But, like, be yourself. You can joke around. You can have fun. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is getting the work done.
Getting the work done.
And deadlines have to do with that too. I should have talked to that during the timeline stuff because deadlines are very important, and we'll talk about
Yes.
that because time management is key, especially when you're working on multiple projects. This can be your worst enemy. There's been a lot of times where we have worked on like multiple projects at once for different games,
Yes.
and we just have, this is our fault, it's no one else's, but we've kind of worked ourselves a little too hard sometimes because
Yeah.
we had to figure out time management. Like, how much time should I put into this and how much effort should I put into that? What's more important for me to work on?
Yeah, and then sometimes we have like other jobs that we have to like focus on as well, which is kind of makes our projects a lot more trickier to get done. But at the same time, as a team, as long as we work together, we will always get it done, no matter what.
Yeah, and I think that's the best part. Like being on a team, we're a team of 5, as I said, and
Yes.
we all have our different niches and expertise. We usually work on scripts with our other friend Evan. Sam procrastinates, edits videos. Our other friend Kenny does graphic design. So we all have our like little like expertise that we
Yeah.
do and really work on. And I think having enough time to really work on each thing and setting your time effectively using a schedule or planner or something like that will really help you. And the biggest part is you'll definitely get feedback.
Yes.
Usually the first thing you send will not be the final product. And that's important to know because obviously, I mean, it's okay, but obviously it does suck a little bit when you like work so hard on something and then they're like, no, change this. Or like, no, scrap that completely. And I mean, it's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
But I advise you to never argue with feedback. It is not the play. Do not argue
Exactly.
with feedback.
Feedback is very important when it comes to these projects and stuff because you want to make sure that everything is good, all the good to go and correct, so that way it doesn't have like any issues out there, you know?
Yeah. Instead, I would say something like, okay, thanks for the feedback. Or if you want to suggest something else, say maybe like, that's a helpful note. What if we also do this or something else with it? So you incorporate the feedback, but you're also suggesting another idea that kind of builds upon it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you're going to have to incorporate the feedback. So doing something with the feedback may help you at the
Yes.
end. And I guess that relates to the marketing stuff because a lot of the times when we make a video, we have to change it.
Yeah.
And that also falls into time management because then we have to find how to. Oh, the band. I was like, what is it? That's really cool. We have to find time in order to change that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So just keep those 3 things in mind. And here's some other stuff. When you're working officially with a company, it's very important to keep these things in mind, in our opinion.
Mm-hmm.
On your personal social media accounts, do not argue with fans. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I mean, we all have our opinions,
Yes.
but like definitely do not argue with fans or it'll get just like, excuse my French, all hell break loose.
Yeah, that wasn't that bad. Even if a fan says, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life, even if it's like the meanest thing you've ever seen on social media, do not engage.
Yes.
It is not worth it.
Not worth it
Not
at
worth
all.
it. Trust me. They're only trying to get a rise out of you. They're trying to waste your time. They're trying to make you look silly online. It's just not worth it. And as we said before, do not tease NDA information. I cannot tell you how many
Yes.
times
Oh my God.
I've seen an official person tease something that's NDA
Yes.
and then get in trouble for it. So just be careful. They're trusting you. Again, you're signing a legal document in order to work on that.
Yeah. It's better to keep the information sealed than rather than getting clout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of clout, do not act like you're better than others. I feel like a
Oh, yeah.
lot of people, when they work on something as cool as Sonic sometimes, will get some sort of inflated ego. And I think when I was a kid, working on Tails channel when I was like 17, 16 years old. I'm 27 now. But like 10 years ago, I had to kind of like figure out that. Like, just because I work on this, it doesn't make me like cooler than someone else.
Yeah.
I'm on the same level, man. I'm as much as a fan as you are. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you don't want to like push that online, or else people will obviously see that. Meeting practices, and this is from our own experience. Know when to be serious and know when you can joke around. You're going to be in a lot of meetings with your client usually, and a lot of the times you want to get straight to the point, which is the second point here, but kind of like combining those two together. You want to make sure, because there is going to be time to joke around and have fun, but when the meeting is going on, when the important stuff is being said, make sure to stay on topic and make sure to just keep it like on topic.
On topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Teamwork practices. I've seen this a lot in fan projects, so I want to say this. I know this is a kind of a weird one. Never randomly add other fans to your established team unless approved by the client. When you're a fan and your friends are fans,
Yes.
it's kind of like a dream to work with your friends on an official project, right? However, you don't want to push it.
Yeah.
I always have the philosophy of don't have too many cooks in the kitchen, right? Because I think if we had more Sonic fans than we already do now,
Yeah.
it might get a little
Get a little hasty
Yeah.
later on.
So, I would, if you really need someone else, if you really know someone who can build upon what you already have, I would ask the client first if it's cool. And usually it's a yes, but it's just good to let them know beforehand instead of like begging for forgiveness
Forgiveness, yes.
instead of permission. You know what I mean? And copyright practices. I know a lot of companies, raise your hand if you've seen an official company accidentally used a fan-made art or just something of that nature.
A lot of
A
hands.
lot of
A
people.
lot of hands.
Make sure,
Without
please.
crediting, too.
What?
Without crediting, too.
Without crediting.
Give us that.
Without crediting. Make sure. Thank you, Gabe. Make sure when you are, because these companies have assets.
Yeah.
You can usually ask them for the asset, and they will probably give them to you if they have it. The only times we haven't been able to get an asset is when they don't have them. So just make sure that you're using approved assets from approved sources and not the wiki. Don't use
yeah.
the wiki.
Don't never use it.
Please don't use the wiki.
Like, always.
Even if it's an official render from the wiki and everything seems fine, you're gonna find that one little watermark in the corner that you didn't notice. Just don't use the wiki, please. Don't use it.
Yeah,
What were you gonna say?
always
Sorry.
always take it from the original source rather than like wikis and stuff.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, sometimes wikis can like take images and stuff, and it won't be as like high res as the official render from the company.
But yeah, that's kind of what to know. So we kind of went over the basics of marketing. We kind of went over some terms from marketing, and we kind of went over just stuff we learned while working with a company. But now we want to show you an example pitch. So Sonic Superstars Speed Strats was our most recent project. What you're about to see is not what we pitched. This is an example that we made up about this project. So this is not the official Speed Strats pitch that we pitch. This is just an example one, and we're using the project as like an example, right?
All right, hold on to your seats, fellas.
So, first of all, you want to have a really good title screen, like something that really pops out. A lot of us, so Kenny, our graphic designer, worked on this logo. Of course, the Sonic Superstars portion is from Sega, but she added the Speed Strats at the bottom, which is really cool. So you want something that like pops out immediately. Want to have some information at the bottom to like kind of say, you know, this is the video pitch that we want to do. The date usually helps.
Yes.
Something like that. Imagine you're like working on a PowerPoint for school, but you want to like not make it like a blank white background with like just Comic Sans text on it.
Oh, no.
You want to put a little more effort.
Yeah, you
than
want to put like some
Yeah.
some cool aesthetics in the background.
Yeah.
Just to like, you know, engage with your client.
Because when you're working on a creative thing, and we'll show some other slides in a second, you want to make sure it pops. You want to prove to them a little bit that you can be creative and you can use the assets in a way that like is different and unique and fun. So yeah. So this slide, it's kind of a brief description about the project. I won't read it all because I mean I don't want to like bore you to death. I promise. But basically, first off, you want to state your objective.
Yes.
Or your problem statement, which is like what you're trying to do here. So here we're saying we want to make a new Speed Strats episode to promote Sonic Superstars, similar to the ones we made for Frontiers and Origins. It's an overview of the game's features, characters, and mechanics. And then we list like what it can do here. So the first thing is audience engagement. We obviously want the audience to be engaged. You kind of want to list what it can do for them. That's
Exactly.
the biggest point.
Yep.
You want to make sure everything you list is a positive for the client, right? So audience engagement, it helps them connect with their audience. High quality recordings makes the game look good for
Exactly.
the audience, right? Helpful insight. Again, like we talked about before, a lot of us are old fans, but there also are new fans.
Yes.
are just being introduced to the series from Superstars, trust me, it's more likely than you think. So having a quick understanding of the game's features also helps the older fans while still having something for, the newer fans, sorry.
Newer fans, yeah.
The newer fans, while still having something for the older fans within that.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a promotional tool, as we said, and we tell them that it would be a perfect fit for the Sonic social media channels, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's kind of like, here's what we can do for you. This is what this episode is about, or the series, or whatever you're trying to pitch. You want to make sure it caters to them, right?
Yeah.
You also want to talk about your team. I don't notice the Sonic Superstars thumbnail. I forgot to edit that out. It's okay. Don't worry about it. But you want to talk about what you've done before. So for us, before Sonic Superstars, we worked on Frontiers and Origins, which was cool. And you want to kind of like just put, if you haven't worked with a company before, right? One of the biggest things I would suggest is if you're like a creative person and you've made a YouTube channel, you make music, you have memes on your Twitter or something. It doesn't really matter. Like, just put that on there. Like, instead of past work with Sega, do like my work or something like that.
Yeah, like original content.
Yeah.
Like Matt mentioned, if you have like creative like outlets like making YouTube videos and making memes, TikTok, whatever, and it's like really good and stylized, you can actually like pitch it to any company you want to like help out and promote their games.
One of the first, for example, like before we worked with Sega and we were pitching our first project to them,
Yes.
we worked on a unofficial fan-made, inspired Legend of Zelda cookbook called the Legends Cookbook, and it was inspired by Breath of the Wild. Really cool recipes in it. Check it out if you haven't and you're interested. A little plug there, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, something like that you create yourself that might not necessarily be official, but might be fan-made. Even if it's like a really cool AMV you made, or like, I don't know, just something. Like, I would put it there. Like, you want to show off your skills, and video editing, graphic design, those are big skills these days, and I would make sure you have them. But if you have worked and have done client work before with a company, definitely put it here, right? Make sure the client knows that you have industry experience and have worked with industry before. That will make them more interested.
Yes.
And be like, oh, so they know what they're doing.
Yeah, let's work with these guys.
Yeah, something like that. So here we have like the episode breakdown, kind of where we tell them what the episode's going to be like. So here we kind of talk about the timing again. The episode would be 5 minutes long. And this slide just pretty much says like what the video is going to be about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. So like different aspects that will go into each video, stuff like that. This is pretty self-explanatory, but it's something to note because it's like you want to make sure they know what they're getting. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Each episode could be like a completely different thing, but you want to make sure you have that in there, right?
Yeah.
Pretty quick. And then the price. So this is important because this is like the heavy hitter, like what you want to be paid, right? Because obviously when you're working with a company, it's good to get paid for it. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I would put everything itemized into a different category and just really specify what you're doing. I put insert price here because I don't want to give y'all like, random prices. But usually for a video like this, I would price it out according to how much effort we're putting into each thing. Like video editing would probably be more. Like let's say the budget, like randomly, is $10,000.
Yeah.
Right. Video editing would probably be, if not half, then like
Yeah.
4,000, because that's a lot of work right there. Graphic design and thumbnail creation, also a lot of work. That's where you could put a good chunk of the money. Script writing, not so much work, but still an important aspect. Gameplay footage is pretty easy. You're just playing the game.
Yeah.
And then stuff like that, narration and subtitles. You just want to make sure you have the stuff itemized. And there's a lot of sources you can look at online. For video, like speed strats, just from examples, I would say around the $5,000 to $10,000 range is usually, good. And again, don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, don't
right?
sell short.
I
at all.
think it's good to put a price that's a little higher than what you're expecting, just so when they talk you down a little bit, you know, you get the price you came in with, right?
Yes, sir.
Or you want. And that's pretty much it. That's kind of what a pitch would be like on our end. And yeah, no, I appreciate y'all coming to our panel. And yeah, we're going to do a Q&A if y'all want
Yeah.
to ask any questions. Y'all can ask them there, or you could come up. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I think we can get like a single file line. Yeah.
If y'all want to ask Gabe.
If you guys want to ask questions, feel free to line up over here.
We got no questions. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
All right, Gabe, what you got for us?
So I'm curious. Obviously, you want to make a piece of advertising that hooks the audience, right?
Yes.
How much does mystery play a role to that? I kind of think of like Death Stranding, for instance. You know how like every trailer, like the first one made no sense. Everyone was like, "Whoa, what is this? So crazy!" But it got like people talking.
Yeah.
I was wondering how you guys like, I guess, decide how to give breadcrumbs of information about the final product to fans.
That's a good question. It's kind of tough, and a lot of that will fall into what the company wants to show. We try to like think of like ways we can tease things without giving too much away.
Yeah.
Because usually when you work on a project, like a video that reveals information, they'll give you like certain parameters to kind of work around. So like, let's say you can't reveal the final boss in Frontiers or something. Or you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
like reveal this map in Frontiers or island in Frontiers. It's kind of like working around it, but also teasing like, hey, there's more to come, is usually the go. But you don't want to promise too much,
Yeah.
because that's when fans might get a little antsy and expect more than what you're probably getting. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have a question? Feel free to raise your hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you, when you're doing a pitch to a company, what kind of channel do you go through to actually like deliver that pitch?
That's a good question. Honestly, a lot of we'll email them with like an idea, or we'll message them, and then we'll usually, most of the time, have a pitch on online on like Discord or Zoom. Usually, it really just depends on what the client wants. And since a lot of we live in Georgia, so a lot of
Yeah.
our clients live in California, so it's kind of hard to be there in person. So we'll usually like use something like, is that what you're asking?
I'm actually wondering more like, you say like email, but
Yeah.
how do you usually even find the information to get in touch with the company?
That's a good question.
Oh, I would say from my experience, I usually go to like conventions, whether to like have like panels or if they're showcasing games like PAX, E3, well, formerly E3, Summer Game Fest, stuff like that. If you have like a business card, which I'm sorry, I can got it right here. Give me one sec. Like when you're going out to events, you always want to bring out like business cards, so that way you can get in touch with the company.
Yeah. I think a lot of the times it's just having like a conversation with them and being like, hey, I'm really interested in maybe working with y'all someday. Not like pushing it, but like,
Yeah.
you know, just being kind of natural with the conversation. And then 9 times out of 10, they'll usually give you the business card with their email on it. And then it's just an email from there, you know? And in that email, the pitch email, like where you're like, I would love to pitch this, I would just like we explained in the pitch, kind of like give a brief breakdown and say, would you like to have a call sometime, or a call on Discord or Zoom, something like that.
Yeah.
And if usually they're not busy, they'll hopefully give you that time, and we'll see. But you might have to email them a couple times, but don't be too pushy, because obviously it's like, you know, they're working their jobs and they're on a schedule. So
Yep.
yeah.
That's true.
What's up?
So with the pitch meeting, is it like a fast thing, like an elevator pitch?
It's kind of like that. It's like an extended elevator pitch. Like you have more than a minute for sure, but it's a little more like.
You're having fun
I'm
over
a
there.
MAGFest pro. It's a little bit more than that. Like you're going over. When I have an elevator pitch, it's like really quick, really fast. I'm like shooting the idea, like just blurting out stuff sometimes. It's an imperfect like sort of thing, but that's usually the fun of it, right? in like this kind of pitch meeting, we have a little more time.
Yeah.
We have at least like 30 minutes to kind of go over, answer any questions they might have. A lot of the meetings end with like, not negotiations, but like, can you do this, or can we pay this, or like something like that. So it's kind of like, I would say usually for us, it's like 20 minutes of talking.
Yeah.
It's just a natural conversation. And then like 10 minutes of like negotiating, answering questions, stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Does that answer? Yeah. Cool. Anyone else?
Yeah, anyone else?
What's up?
Do you guys ever do marketing for indie games?
For indie games? Oh, yeah.
For indie games?
We love indie games.
Yes, sir.
We would love to work with some more indie games. We haven't worked specifically with indie games on strategy guide stuff. We would love to. Me in the past, I've worked with a few just personally. I love indie games. I mean, I'm helping with an indie game. I love indie games.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah. Is there any like specific question you have about indie games? See, Patrick just said, right? Bring your business card to conventions, and then me, I forgot my business cards.
Here.
Because I'm very smart and professional. So. I forgot 2 things in my suitcase, and the business cards was one of them. So,
Here you go, my good sir.
but yeah, if you contact Patrick, he'll just send it to me.
Yeah, I'll send it to
thank
Matt.
you. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone else?
It's that easy. So, like, it's that easy sometimes. Just having like a natural conversation with someone, be like, oh, that would be cool. Usually it's how it goes, and I mean, we love like talking to people, at least seeing if the project fits, and we'll be honest with people and be like, I feel like that falls out of the scope of what we can do, and we'll probably recommend them to someone else, right?
Yes.
Because it's good to shoot for what you can do, and it's good to recommend for what you can't, right?
Anyone?
up?
Yes.
On the research aspect, like what are some of the tools that you use for researching what's popular or what might be a fit?
A lot of it is just like being on social media itself.
Yep.
I feel like sometimes I'll just search, sorry, what people have said about our videos, and just kind of see what people are thinking. So maybe if someone has like a suggestion that's like beneficial and could be cool,
Yeah.
or like even positive or negative feedback, that's fine too.
Yeah.
We'll definitely consider it for like the videos and see if it like fits. Obviously, it's tough to incorporate every single piece of feedback because you work in those parameters of what the company will let you do.
Yeah. We just like pretty much, get as much feedback as much as possible. Like not too much, but like, something that can like we can work around with.
Others singing, Can You Feel the Sunshine? That's really funny. We're going to go to that after
Yeah,
this is done.
you're gonna go there and sing.
We saw that on the schedule. We like Sonic R. We have to go. That's so cool.
Any other questions?
What's up? How do you handle it? That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what we said before. It's never good to like engage because 9 times out of 10, that's what they want. People who are negative want you to kind of respond in a way that they could be like, oh, look at that. That's unprofessional. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I wouldn't do that. What I would do, I mean, a lot of the negative feedback, even if it's harsh, can be constructive. And when you like take off the glasses of like, oh, I worked on this, right? And really read it for what it is, it can actually be helpful. It might hurt your feelings a little bit to like see something negative like that.
Yeah.
Of course it does. We're human. But like, it's also good to, if the person has genuine criticism, that's not, this sucks, you know what I mean? Then really just like take it in and try to see
Yeah.
if you can incorporate it. If you think it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that answer your question? Cool.
Anyone else?
Y'all want to go to the Sonic R karaoke?
I'm down for that.
Yeah. I mean, we got 10 minutes, so if y'all want to chill, we could chill. If y'all want to go, it's all good too. What's up, Gabe?
Between you and Patrick, which one of you is a better Sonic the Fighters player?
Patrick. This man, anyone here play Fighting Vipers? Okay,
Oh,
very
that's
good.
what I do. Yes, sir.
This guy is like ranked, what?
So funny story about that. I was ranked number 1 on the Xbox version of Fighting Vipers.
Number one.
Yes, sir. Dap it up, dap it up.
I'm not ranked
So
anything.
yeah, so like, it was a fun experience because like I noticed like a lot of the players I fought against online was Japanese players, and back in the day, Fighting Vipers was like, equivalent to Virtua Fighter 2. It was like a new hot fighting game by Sega AM2. There were tournaments. There were cosplays. Like, who's familiar with Honey from Fighting Vipers and Sonic the Fighters? Yeah, so like, just playing like competitively against those players and stuff, it just burns my passion. Like,
Yeah.
I can feel the heat and just go at it. Because
This is another thing I want to mention. Find people that are passionate, right? Because the passion will show in the projects that you work on. This
Oh,
dude
yes.
is one of the most passionate Sega fans of all time. I am telling you. He made an entire fan convention just for Sega. He is really cool. So,
Thank
just,
you.
yeah.
yeah, like, what's up? You have a question?
Yeah, what's your favorite Sega commercial?
Oh my God! I
That's
want to
tough.
say, okay,
Oh, man.
I like
I
the
got
I like the Saturn commercials, Sega Sanshiro, but
Classic. Classic.
I grew up with the American Dreamcast commercials where you see like a bunch of like Sega characters interacting with each other, like Sonic is like on the DJ and stuff, and you see like like what was it BD Joe from Crazy
Yeah.
Taxi with Pai Chan just dancing and
Oh,
yeah.
in the Dreamcast.
Yeah, then like Sonic just DJing like Little Too Hard and stuff, and like dude from NBA like 2K was like, "Stay off the light speed." My bad. I love that. That's like one of my favorite commercials of all time.
I like the one of Sonic Adventure in Japan where Sonic jumps out of the helicopter and like just dies. that one's really funny.
He just flies out.
I think a lot of those older commercials were before my time because I was born in '96. But like I still go back and I watch like a lot of like the old Sega Saturn stuff. I love Sega Saturn. I love the Dreamcast especially. So like I think a lot of that marketing was perfect. In my
Sega ta
even though those
Sanshiro.
consoles, yes. Even though those consoles didn't do so hot, unfortunately, I love the Dreamcast with all my heart.
Oh, yes.
But, yeah. I know. People, they didn't get it. They didn't get it. It was the best console.
Oh yes.
I love the GameCube too.
I
Any-
love the GameCube as well.
Any other questions? Just fun or marketing? Yeah, what's up?
What's up?
How would you go about, let's say there's like one channel that you kind of know how to do marketing, but you don't know how to do, let's say, social media marketing.
Sure.
That kind of a blank. How would you go about trying to bridge that gap, trying to build those skills?
So like there's something in marketing you know about, but you're trying to learn about social media marketing?
Email marketing,
Sure.
but, I'm not a professional
To me, a lot of what I learned is just from looking at others, seeing how they do it, watching videos about it, reading about it. I went to school for it too,
Yeah.
so just learning about that. But you don't need to go to college just to learn about that. I feel like a lot of what you can learn just by yourself is done through your own research, through your own like perusing of different like tweets and different posts, seeing what works for you, what you like, especially what the fans like. If you look at the comments and a lot of fans are like, "This is really cool," then that's probably a hit, right? If you see a lot of comments where it's not that great, then that probably didn't work so well, right?
Yeah.
Or there's a problem, and researching why that was a problem is good. You want to know what's a problem so you don't make the same mistake, right? And I mean, there are a lot of mistakes on social media.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there are a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So it's tough because you want to cater to everybody, but it's impossible to cater to everybody. It's kind of like
Yeah.
the ultimate problem. But I would say, for the most part, just like looking at, like, do you have any specific social media pages, for example, that you look at?
a lot of gaming stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
Nothing that correlates to my current.
I feel you. I guess just looking at what you like and seeing what others like is usually the way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the research aspect in motion. Just kind of like seeing what works for the others, so you can kind of implement it yourself without, again, no copy and pasting, but just kind of
Oh, yeah.
like putting your own twist on it is usually. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Cool. Thank you. That was a good question. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Let's say someone misinterprets a commercial or something that you have out. How do you help them correct it?
That's a good question. I mean, honestly, when the commercial is out, the commercial is out.
Yeah.
Right? There's not really anything you could do about it, except for in the future, kind of like tweak your messaging
yeah.
in a way that kind of makes more sense, or is kind of like what you're more looking for. Because obviously, like, we're not perfect. We've made mistakes in that too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like experience. Like I said before, like what works, what doesn't, how fans react to it is kind of like where you want to go. When you post something, it's online forever.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what they teach you in school, right?
Yep.
Especially when you're in like high school or something. So like when you post something, it's there forever. You can't get rid of it, but you can learn from it.
Exactly.
So, learning from what went wrong or what didn't work with that post is usually how to go.
I believe he had a question.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could maybe speak from the opposite perspective just a little bit.
Sure.
If you're someone looking to work with a social media marketing company, what should you be looking for? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So like if you wanted to join us, for example, or something.
No, if someone wanted to hire a social media company,
Got it.
Yeah.
to look for someone to run a specific campaign, what sorts of like red flags or green flags would they be looking for?
What they be looking for.
Yeah.
So a lot of what we've heard just comes from the team itself. Like a lot of people feel like they know what's best for the brand when, like you got people who are the social media managers of that brand, right? They were hired for a reason because they know that thing, hopefully, or that product, right? When someone else comes in, it's like, no, this is how you should do it, and I'm putting my foot down. That usually doesn't go well, and it's all about like your wording, right? If you feel like something should be changed or should be tweaked in a way, okay, I'm just checking the time. Well, in a way that like works for, or you think that can change, I would put it in a way that's more like, not elegant, but more like casual and less like aggressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think from a lot of what we've heard, people don't like working with aggressive people or like
Yeah.
people that like are kind of mean or disrespectful, especially when, oh God, when they do things like behind their back that like they didn't ask for or pay for, because they're paying you at the end of the day to do
Yeah.
a specific thing. So again, not keeping the client informed is a big one we've heard.
Yep.
Being rude to the client or disrespectful is a big one we've heard. Not being as passionate as others is one we've
Yeah,
heard.
there's another one. Yep.
Does that answer your question? Yeah. Are you looking like for more specifics than that, or is that like the general gist?
That was good, thank you.
Cool. Yeah.
How many minutes do we
We
have?
got like 3.
3 more minutes.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a question for us?
Yes,
What's
sir.
up?
So, I think that to me, what would be the challenge of marketing in video games is that I feel like you simultaneously have to have very well developed like skills in traditional marketing, like making ads and YouTube videos and that kind of stuff. But also you gotta be like really like cutting edge, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
an example I think of is like the Yakuza games, how they've recently like gotten like VTubers and like influencers like on their ad campaigns.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I don't know, people have like mixed opinions of it, but like it gets people talking about Yakuza.
Sure.
Yeah.
With the VTuber thing, I feel like that's again just knowing which influencers would work with your brand. That's a whole other topic, I think.
Yep.
For like, can you repeat the first part of your question?
I was just wondering how you guys balance like the traditional skills involved with like marketing as well as like staying cutting edge and like hip. I know, I guess it comes down
Yeah.
to research, but I feel like at some
yeah.
point you're like kind of taking a risk on this like cutting edge stuff,
I think the reason we included trends is that they're kind of important for like what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to like use an old thing from like 2014 and like say it's like, wow, I'm connecting with people. You know what I mean? Because people see through it. Oh. Was I really like that? I didn't mean to. Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But yeah, I think it's a lot about. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said.
I think the answer is research is definitely
Yeah.
important, what people want. I mean, we emphasize it a lot, and it may seem like we're a broken record, but that's really a lot of what it is. And I feel like a lot of people, what they miss is that research aspect, knowing what's trending at that moment or what's popular, knowing what your audience wants, but also seeing what other companies are doing. It's a delicate balance between all three things, because you definitely don't want to be like copying them. Like I remember the GTA 6 announcement, and
Oh, yeah.
everyone did the GTA 6 announcement template.
Oh,
and after like
man.
the 7th one, it got kind of old, you know what I mean?
The Halo ad with like,
Yeah.
the
And everyone was
background.
like, no one plays Halo Infinite, bro. Like I saw that in the comments. It's like that, right? I mean, you could be funny about it, but like, it's really just down to research. I feel like I'm saying that a lot, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I swear it's very important.
All
No,
right.
that makes sense. It just seems like risky to me, you know?
It is
like,
risky.
You can do as much research in the world, but, you know, at a certain point, it's like, do I stick my neck out for this thing that could trend soon or is trending now? Or do I
Yeah.
go what's safe?
I'll see how it works with others and kind of go from there.
Yeah. I have a question for everyone before we leave.
It is 4:30.
How many of you guys are hyped for the upcoming Sega games from the Game
Oh,
Awards?
the new era.
Yeah, the new
energy.
era, new energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
Jet
was really
Set
cool.
Radio, baby.
Y'all have no idea how much I love Jet Set Radio. I'm so excited. Well, thank you all so much for coming to our panel. We hope you
Appreciate
learned
it.
something. And we're going to be around if you want to ask more questions. And if you see us like around the convention, please feel free to stop us and be like, hi. And like, if you have any questions you want to ask, just ask us. And yeah,
Yes, sir.
Don't forget to dap them up.
there will
yeah,
be
dap 'em up.
there will be a quiz later.